The cold winter wind howled through the streets of a small town. Inside a dimly lit house, Sarah lay in bed, cradling her newborn baby, Oliver. His tiny fingers curled around hers, his soft breaths a melody of new life. Sarah's husband, Mark, watched them with teary eyes, his heart swelling with love. But outside their home, lurking in the darkness, was a shadow. Rex, the town's most feared stray dog. A massive, battle-scarred beast, Rex had been abandoned long ago. The people of the town called him a menace, a danger to society. Some said he had once attacked a man. Others whispered that he had tasted blood. No one dared to go near him. But Rex wasn't just a monster. Beneath his rough, scarred exterior, there was a past filled with love and loss.
It was a quiet night when Sarah first noticed the dog. She was rocking Oliver to sleep when a low growl echoed from outside. Looking through the window, her breath caught in her throat. Two glowing yellow eyes stared back at her. It was Rex. Fear gripped Sarah's heart. She quickly pulled the curtains shut, holding Oliver close. "Mark, that dog is outside again," she whispered, her voice trembling. Mark sighed. "I'll call animal control tomorrow. That thing shouldn't be near our house." The next morning, Mark found their garbage bins toppled over. Paw prints led from the bins to their porch, as if the beast had been closer than they thought. One stormy night, Oliver fell sick. His tiny body burned with fever, and Sarah panicked. "Mark, we need to take him to the hospital." Mark nodded, grabbing the car keys. But as they opened the door, the wind slammed it shut. The roads were blocked due to a fallen tree. They were trapped. Oliver's cries grew weaker. Sarah sobbed, rocking him desperately. That's when she heard it, a soft whimper outside. Through the window, she saw Rex sitting there, staring at her. His eyes weren't menacing. They were concerned. In that moment, Sarah felt something strange. Was the dangerous dog watching over them? As days passed, Sarah noticed something unusual. Every night, Rex would sit outside their house, guarding them. He never came to close, never tried to enter, just watched. One evening, Sarah stepped out, holding a piece of bread. Her hands trembled as she set it down on the porch. "Here," she whispered. Rex didn't move at first. Then, slowly, he stepped forward, took the bread, and backed away. His eyes met Sarah's. Something unspoken passed between them. From that night on, Sarah began leaving food for him, and in return, Rex never left their doorstep. Months passed. Oliver grew stronger, his laughter filling the home. But one night, fate took a cruel turn. Mark had gone out for a late-night shift. Sarah was alone with Oliver when she heard a noise, a low rustling outside. At first, she thought it was Rex, but then the sound of footsteps. A shiver ran down her spine. She peered through the window and froze. A masked man was trying to break into their house. Panic seized her. She grabbed Oliver, backing away. The man was trying to force the door open. Sarah's heart pounded. "Please, no." Then, a thunderous growl shattered the silence. "Rex!" The dog lunged at the intruder, teeth bared. The man screamed as Rex bit down on his arm. The intruder tried to fight back, but Rex was relentless. Blood spilled onto the ground as the masked man fled into the night, clutching his wounded arm. Sarah gasped. Rex had saved them. Tears filled her eyes as she stepped outside. "Thank you," she whispered. For the first time, she reached out and Rex let her touch him. From that night, everything changed. Mark, once wary of Rex, finally accepted him. The dangerous stray was no longer a menace. He was their guardian. Oliver, now crawling, often reached out for Rex, and to everyone's shock, the once feared beast let the baby touch him. He even wagged his tail. Sarah knew the truth now. Rex wasn't dangerous. He was broken, abandoned but never evil. But fate had one more cruel twist to offer. One evening, as Sarah and Mark sat in the backyard, Oliver giggled in his playpen. Rex lay nearby, watching over him. Then, the unthinkable. A car sped down the street, swerving wildly. The driver was drunk. The vehicle veered off the road, heading straight for the backyard fence. Sarah screamed. The car crashed through the wooden barrier, and in that split second, As debris flew everywhere, Rex moved. He didn't run away. He didn't hesitate. He jumped. The car hit him first. The impact sent his body rolling across the ground, but because of him, Oliver was untouched. Silence. Sarah rushed to Rex, her hands shaking. No, 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 no. Mark knelt beside her, his face pale. Rex's breathing was ragged, his body broken, but his eyes searched for Oliver. Sarah gently placed Oliver beside him. The baby, unaware of the tragedy, reached out with his tiny hands and touched Rex's fur. Rex let out a weak, content sigh. His tail wagged, just once, and then he closed his eyes. Forever. The town that once feared Rex now mourned him. People gathered to pay their respects. They finally understood he had never been a monster. Sarah and Mark buried him under the oak tree in their yard. A small plaque read, "Rex, the guardian who loved without fear." Years later, Oliver, now a young boy, would sit by Rex's grave and talk to him. "You were my first friend," he would whisper. And somewhere, in the wind that rustled the trees, it almost felt like Rex was still there watching over him.